Steve here again. I'm now going to take you through some Android tutorials, starting with how to create a new Android project and push it to BitBucket. It's a little bit more complicated than doing it for Xcode, so I'll take you through the steps. So here I have Android Studio open. I'm going to now create a brand new project. So you go start a new project. On Mac and on Windows, it looks very similar. I'm going to create an Android project with just an empty activity. I'm going to call it test Android app. Now, by default, this will often say Kotlin. I would recommend using Java unless you're familiar with Kotlin. Go finish. Okay. Now the first step you need to do here is you need to enable, once it loads, you need to enable a version control integration. How you do that is you go up to VCS here and you click enable version control integration. This will prepare the project so it will be in the format required for a repository such as BitBucket or GitHub. So you click that and you say Git, which is the one that we use. This will create a local repository of your files. Okay, so what we now have to do is we have to tell Android Studio what files we want to be pushed to BitBucket for the first time. So the way you do this is you will select this app folder. So it's Android and then app, and just right click and then click Git, add. The other thing you need to do is you need to mark some key Gradle files, and they will also go into your BitBucket repository. So the way you do that is you go Android and you change it to project. Open this up, and these are the files that you need. So you need to open up Gradle, you need to select wrapper, and all these other files in red except for the local properties. You also select Git and add. Now, if this is a brand new project and doesn't exist in BitBucket, like this one here, this is a blank repository I've set up for this exercise. You will need to manually connect this to BitBucket the first time you do this. So the way you do this is you first copy your location in BitBucket, and you open down here the terminal. And this is the command you need to do. You need to do git remote add origin and then add the URL for your repository. Then you do your first commit, which is git commit m, and then in quotes, a comment. It then gives you a list of all the files that are going to be either changed or inserted. You then push the code by doing git push u origin master. Now, since I have done the push before, it's just gone and done it. If you haven't done this before, it will actually also ask you for your credentials, your username and password, which is just your Deacon username without the email address. So just, for me, it's sacrossi, and then your password. That's all done. You only need to do it this way once. Now that that link has been established, if I go ahead and I make a change, I can do it using the GUI interface in Android Studio. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just make a small change to one of the layouts. And then I'm going to do VCS commit. This shows me in here the change I've made. I will then write a message. And I will do commit and push. If I do commit only, these will commit the changes to my local repository, but not to the remote one on BitBucket. So I'm going to do commit and push. It will then show me if there's any errors or warnings. So I'll review that. This is just telling me I could use a string resource. That's fine to ignore for now. So we'll go back to VCS commit and push, and then commit and push. This will then show me what's going to be pushed to the remote, and I'll click push. And that's done. If I go back here and I hit refresh, and I go into commits, I can see the two changes. The first commit, which was all the initial code, and the second one, which is that small change I just made. So that's how to create a brand new Android project, enable version control, and link it to BitBucket.